students, making a speech does not just mean that you should read it out. Okay, that is what you are not going to do. It is a controversy analysis speech. It is based on your controversy analysis paper, but that does not mean that you should read out the controversy analysis paper. Rather, there are other requirements as well that you need to keep in mind. So once again, the speech must be given within 6 to 7 minute window. There's a 30-second grace period on either side. So you make sure that your speech is neither too short nor too long, right? So for a 15-second infraction, that is, if it is 15 seconds above 7 minutes or 15 seconds below 6 minutes, there you might lose some marks for that. So it is very important to stick to the time limit. You also need to work on your speaking skills. Practice them. So think about the gestures, tone, transitions, and pace of speech. We'll talk more about it in a minute. You should practice, practice, and practice, both for the timing as well as to internalize the ideas that you are going to deliver in the speech. So we have already talked about the written material you are supposed to submit to me along with the speech. Before the speech, you will email to me a keyword outline, a formal sentence outline, an annotated bibliography, and a visual aid. A visual aid can be a picture or a painting which you would like to use in order to grab the attention of your audience. We discussed it in the last class. So if you haven't attended the last class, I'll share the recording with you. Okay. Today I just want to focus on the delivery part. So you have to make sure that while you deliver the speech, that the speaker's posture is appropriate. The speaker is standing upright and is not swaying or otherwise distracting with posture. Your gesture should be big and engaging. So basically, what we call communication, it does not just happen from what you say, right? It also happens from the gestures that you make with your hands. So the gesture should fit appropriately with the speech. While you make the speech, maintain eye contact for at least 70 to 80% of the time. What does that mean? Making an eye contact with the audience means that you are not constantly reading from a paper. Rather, you know the content that you wish to speak and you are talking to your audience. So maintaining an eye contact means that your style is conversational. You are talking to people. You are not reading to people. Also, the visual aid that you have, you should not continue to look at the visual aid. So in most of the cases, the visual aid works in such a manner that you display the visual aid either on multimedia screen, or if it is a chart, paper chart, you just display it to the audience. But the point is that you should not
Sir,
keep looking at the visual aid. Yep.
Sir, I wanted to ask, do we have to create PowerPoint slides for this?
No, you don't. You will not
Right,
make PowerPoint slides for this speech. Okay.
right,
This speech is without PowerPoint. There will be another
right,
speech later on at the end of the semester. For that, you need
right,
PowerPoint.
right.
So the speech is delivered extemporaneously with minimal use of notes, right? So once again, you should present
Sir,
the
have you
speech
marked
in
my
such a
attendance?
manner that it it should it should appear to be extemporaneous. What does that mean? That means uh, you should create that impression on the audience that you know the content, right? If you have the notes with you, you can definitely look at the notes, right? But for 70 to 80% of the time, you should look at the audience. Use minimum verbal fillers. So there are certain expressions in our day-to-day speech which are called verbal fillers. For example, we use the expression you see, or we use the expression right, or you use the expression I think. Now, all the expressions of this kind are called verbal fillers. We use them in our speech just to fill the gap in our speech, but they do not have really meaningful, presence in our speech. Avoid the verbal fillers as much as you can when you are making a formal speech, because the verbal fillers do not contribute to the overall meaning of your speech, but they take time and they take space. Instead of using the verbal fillers, you should use meaningful expression in order to make your speech as comprehensive as you can make it. And finally, the speaker's volume and rate of speech must be appropriate. So volume means that you should be audible, and rate of speech means that you shouldn't speak too fast. Okay, you shouldn't speak too slow either, right? So if your speech is too fast, your audience may not be able to understand what you're saying, because you in that case you might be rushing over the ideas. On the other hand, if your speech is too slow, if the rate of speech is too slow, then you will be taking too much time to say very little. So take care of that. So here are some deductions. If you do not provide full sentence or speaking outline, you might lose 1/3 of the overall grade for this particular assignment. And then there are time penalties too. 1/3 of the uh, letter grade for 15-second violation. So do not go above 7 minutes or do not be below 6 minutes. Stay within 6 to 7 minutes. If you miss the bibliography, once again, 1/3 of the letter grade uh, might might be lost. And if you miss sources, you are supposed to include 4 resources at least in your speech. So you will lose 1 point per one source that you miss during the speech. All right. On the other hand, you must cite all the quotations, you must refer to their source during the speech. Okay. If you state a fact or you state a quote or you cite some information, you must provide its source, right? But additionally, you must cite at least 4 sources in your speech. right? So this is all about delivering the speech. Let me know if you have any question.